Hi everyone, this is Miss Whitney here from Midpoint Library Low, also known as Library on Wheels. I'm super excited to be with you guys today. I have a couple of stories that I'd like to share with you on a very important topic, something that you may be hearing on the television or on the radio is a lot about voting. So today's stories are going to be all about voting. I hope that you enjoy them. All right, friends, our first story today is The Voice That Won the Vote. How one woman's words made history. A vote is a voice. This is what I believe in. This is what I stand for. This is what matters to me. This is who I am. This is who I choose to lead. My town, my state, my country. In 1920, women were still denied that voice. For nearly 75 years, they had organized meetings, marched in parades, carried signs, and made speeches demanding their right to vote. Say yes to suffrage, they shouted. They wore yellow roses. Yellow means yes. But they were silenced. Other voices drowned them out. Troublemakers. Female voters will surely cause chaos. Uncivilized. Women with a voice in politics? Nonsense. The only vote a woman needs is the vote to choose her husband. But nestled in a valley on a farm in East Tennessee, one woman was determined to have a voice and a vote. Feb Byrne was known around town as a smart and strong-willed. At the time when most women didn't go to college, Feb did. She graduated and became a teacher. She read newspapers, magazines, and books. She loved to learn. Feb Byrne was especially fascinated by laws and the people who made them. Every year on election day, the men who worked on her farm would head to town hall and cast their votes. And every year, Feb Byrne would watch them go. She was sick and tired of staying at home, shut out of the process. So, one day she sat on her front porch with some paper, a pen, and a plan. "Dear son," she began. A few days later, a letter arrived on the desk of the youngest lawmaker in Tennessee. His name was Harry Byrne. And on that hot August day, he watched the state capitol fill with reporters, photographers, and people from all over the country who had come to witness history. America was on the verge of change. 35 states wanted to see women vote, but the country needed 36 to make it a law. It all came down to Tennessee, the last state left to vote. If lawmakers in Tennessee say yes, women across the nation would finally be allowed to cast their ballots. If Tennessee lawmakers said no, well, then things would stay exactly the same. It was a tie. They would have to vote again. Harry Byrne was ready to take a stand, firm for what he believed in. He had voted against women's suffrages in the first round, and he knew that most of the people who had elected him hated the idea of women voting. Many of those people were in the audience. They knew they could count on Harry Byrne. After all, the proof was right there on his jacket. A red rose, the symbol of keeping women in the home and out of the voting booth. The state capitol was filled with more red roses than yellow that day, and everyone knew that meant someone would break the tie with a no. It was time to vote again. Someone did indeed break the tie. Harry Byrne. Yes, he said. What? The officials in charge asked the young lawmaker to repeat himself. Obviously, he had made a mistake. Clearly, he had gotten confused. But there was no mistake, and he was not confused. Harry Byrne wanted women to vote. No one could believe it. Many of the women who had organized the meetings, marched in the parades, carried signs, and made speeches were in the audience wearing their yellow roses. They gasped and they cried and they hugged each other. But why did Harry Byrne change his vote? I know that a mother's advice is always the safest for a boy to follow, he explained. And then from his jacket pocket, behind that rose, Harry Byrne pulled out a note from his mother, the one Feb Byrne had written on her front porch. The people who had elected Harry Byrne were shocked and furious. A grown man listening to his mother? We'll show him, they thought. We will not vote for Harry Byrne in the next election. Byrne ruined in politics, declared the headlines. Harry Byrne understood. He knew that by giving women the right to vote, he was giving up his seat in the Tennessee House of Representatives. The people in his district just weren't ready for a leader who wanted women to vote. He told his newspaper reporters, I'm happy simply because I followed my conscience. It kept telling me women are people, and voting, he knew, should be the right of all people. He thought again of his mother. So I made the choice, he said, explaining that standing up for what he believed in was more important than winning the next election. It took courage, and courage has a way of making things right. Election day came. When the campaigns were over and the votes were counted, the new state representative was announced. Harry Byrne. He kept his seat in the Tennessee legislature, kept standing up for equal rights, and no one was prouder than the woman who, without speaking a word, gave all women a voice. The end. I hope you enjoyed that one. We have one more. Our next story about voting is called Vote for Me. Vote for me. It was that time of year again, election time. As the former class president, Penelope Pony had to make an announcement to her fellow classmates. Penelope Pony said, "Class, I need your attention. It's time for our class to organize and elect new officers. We'll begin with the class president. You may decorate the halls with posters which tell why you should be the president." Helga, did you hear? We get to make posters for elections in art class today. That's wonderful, Zoe. We can help each other. Helga and Zoe, you're a great team. The students who are not running for office may volunteer to help a candidate. Penelope, do we have time to finish our posters today? We should, Amber, because our teacher gave us the whole afternoon for this project. I will need a ladder to hang my poster. No, you won't, Snyder. With my long neck, I can reach it for you. Elvin, do you have the materials you need to finish your poster? No, Penelope, I need more markers to finish. Lena, could you please help and share the markers with Elvin and me? Zoe, your poster looks finished, so I have a job for you. Please go to the office and ask Miss Mitten for enough tape to hang the posters in the hall. Thank you, Zoe. Good job. Now, let's get these posters hung in the hall. Now, let's get these posters hung in the hall. Tomorrow's the day, voting day. Cast your vote. Whoever wins, it will be okay. Who will our president be? If you stop by the school tomorrow at 3, you will see. I really hope you enjoyed our stories today and you learned a little bit more about voting. It's something that's really important for our country, and it's something that's extremely interesting. And I hope you enjoyed learning about it today in our stories. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all very soon.